You ever have one of those nights where you're so sure the world's about to leave you in peace, then suddenly it's like the universe looked down, grinned, and said, "Not tonight, buddy." That was me lying in bed with a glass of wine, finally feeling like I could breathe. After weeks of investor calls and paperwork, looking out over this glassy, perfect lake, thinking, man, I made it. Then bang, 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 someone's trying to knock my front door clean off its hinges. I'm not talking a neighbor dropping off cookies. I mean the kind of pounding you only expect when there's a fire, a flood, or maybe a SWAT team at your door. So let me back up a sec. I'd moved out to this lakeside paradise thinking I'd found a little piece of heaven. A big sun-soaked villa with a dock, quiet neighbors, privacy the works. What I actually bought into was a nest of people so obsessed with the rules they'd make the IRS look relaxed. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for Stella Morrison, self-appointed queen of the HOA, standing outside my door in a tracksuit looking like she'd just come from yelling at someone on daytime TV. She doesn't bother with good evening or sorry to wake you. Nah, first words out of her mouth screamed loud enough to wake the fish in the lake, or I am the HOA. I am the law here. Then she launches into this tirade about my dock being 2 inches over the HOA specifications. 2 inches. At 12:30 a.m. I try to explain permits, measurements, the whole deal, but she's not listening. She's just getting louder, spit-flying eyes popping. You will comply with my regulations or face consequences. And next thing I know, she's on her phone actually calling 911 on me for being aggressive and threatening. You know what I mean? Like I'm the villain in some weird suburban soap opera. Police show up, 2 tired-looking officers who clearly know they've been dragged out for nonsense. They talk to her first. She's flapping her arms around, pointing at my dock, my house, probably my soul. Then they come to me, ask for my ID, and suddenly their whole vibe changes. One of them steps aside, calls someone, and when he comes back, he's all sir and sorry for the disturbance. Turns out they're not about to let some HOA drama waste their time. Stella looks like she swallowed a lemon. I stand on my deck that night, gripping my wine so hard I nearly cracked the glass, thinking, if this is how it starts, how bad can it get? Turns out a whole lot worse. The next day, fueled by adrenaline and spite, I check my security cameras. There's Stella 3 days earlier sneaking around my yard with a tape measure, measuring everything, dock, fence deck, hunting for violations like some HOA bounty hunter. And that's not all. A few hours of online digging reveals she's been running the HOA like her own fiefdom for years. Bogus fines, voluntary contributions to shady neighborhood projects, landscaping contracts awarded to her brother's company, and get this, her own private dock sitting illegally on public land. The same dock she screams at everyone else about. So I do what any reasonable person would do. I start recording. The next day, Stella shows up again, now all teary-eyed and apologetic, saying she was just under so much stress. She lays it on thick, talking about the burden of community standards, hoping I'll buy her act. I nod, play along, and get it all on tape. Then my friend Mike, who happens to be a lawyer with a mischievous streak, poses as a potential buyer. She immediately pitches him on paying a $5,000 enhancement fee in cash. No paperwork, no records to guarantee a trouble-free move-in. We have it all on tape. At this point, I'm building a file that would make a prosecutor drool. Embezzlement, fraud, you name it. But before I can take my shot, things get weirder. I get a cryptic text, "I know who you really are. We need to talk." Turns out word is getting around about my other life. See, I run a major environmental investment fund, and my company's been buying up land and development rights all over the county so quietly, even I barely kept track of it all. Now the stakes are higher and people are watching. Stella calls an emergency HOA meeting to try and turn the neighborhood against me, accusing me of being a hostile outsider trying to buy my way out of rules. Here's the twist. One of my neighbors, Gerald, who I thought was a decent guy, stands up and starts spinning this wild story about me threatening Stella, dropping hints about my connections. He mixes just enough truth with lies to get everyone's attention. That's when I realize Stella isn't just corrupt, she's strategic. She's got allies. She's playing dirty. But so am I. When it's my turn, I let the silence hang, then introduce myself for real. Cameron Walsh, CEO, environmental developer. The guy whose fund owns more of this county than anyone in the room can imagine. I lay out the evidence publicly on slides, property records, utility contracts, exclusive rights, even the development agreement giving my company oversight on every inch of lakefront land. You should have seen the faces. Stella turns pale, Gerald nearly faints, and even her lawyer is sweating bullets. And then comes the bombshell. An investigator from the county ethics committee has been in the room quietly taking notes. She's been looking for a big enough scandal to take down not just Stella, but the whole rotten network of HOA presidents in the area. My case hands it to her on a silver platter. Within a week, Stella's under formal investigation. Residents who'd been bullied for years suddenly come out of the woodwork with their own stories, emboldened now that the queen is cornered. But Stella's not done. Next morning, she shows up in my yard with police sporting a self-inflicted scratch claiming I attacked her. Rookie mistake, my cameras catch her doing it. I show the footage, officers see through her performance, and now she's facing criminal charges for filing a false report. The tables have fully turned. I get a call from the county commissioner who now wants to make sure I'm happy, and the local press are all over the story. The HOA votes Stella out unanimously. I use my resources to help the community. We rebuild the public dock, open up the lake to everyone, erase every bogus fine she ever levied. The place transforms, kids playing, neighbors actually talking, real community. And Stella, she has to go door to door apologizing as part of her plea deal. When she gets to me, she's a shell of her old self, quiet, humbled, powerless. As she leaves, she drops a note, "Tell my sister I'm sorry." Turns out her sister Monica had been trying to warn everyone for years about Stella's power trips, and now Monica's sharing rumors of a bigger, more dangerous alliance of HOAs in the next county, led by a woman named Rosalind, who's learned from Stella's mistakes and is now gaming the system at the government level. So yeah, the story doesn't really end. My neighborhood finally finds peace, but out there, another HOA dictator's gearing up, more clever, more connected, already making moves to shut down environmental projects with red tape instead of midnight threats. Sometimes it feels like a never-ending battle, integrity against fear, community against power. But the lesson: never back down from bullies, no matter how official their badge or loud their threats. Real power isn't about screaming the loudest. It's about standing up for what's right for yourself and for your neighbors. That's how you change a community, one battle at a time. Now let me ask you, if you were in my shoes, would you have fought back or played it safe? Ever tangled with an HOA or neighborhood tyrant? Drop your story or your take in the comments. Let's talk about where the real lines between right and wrong get drawn in our communities. Because trust me, the story's never as simple as it looks from the outside.